United States of America, the richest, third largest, and most powerful country in the world. Founded on the 4th of July, 1776, after a brutal war against the once mighty British Empire. The country that rose up to become the world's strongest nation. The country that is now led by this guy.
Second, we continue our work on negotiating international trade agreements. 59 days after we stood in this office and President Trump...
Donald Trump is by far the worst president in US history. And the US has had some shitty presidents. 4 of their 5 first presidents were slave owners. And even when compared to slave owners, Donald Trump is still an even worse president than all of these guys. The reason that Taco Trump is worse than literally every president in US history, including the one who dropped atomic bombs on Japanese civilians, the US has never had a president who was both evil and a complete fucking idiot. Many US presidents have harmed the economy. Many have started wars. Many are war criminals. And many have even been impeached. But never has a US president ever damaged the economy, started wars, ruined America's relationship with all of its allies, committed crimes, and been impeached twice. If you didn't know any better, you'd think this guy was speedrunning the destruction of his own country. He is literally the first US president in history to be impeached on 2 separate occasions, and somehow y'all let him get elected again. And Donald Trump's most recent fuck up is potentially his most legendary. Benjamin Netanyahu, president of a country, wink wink, called Israel. Now, good old Benji wants to take over the Middle East to create Greater Israel. So him and his buddies go to the US and give damn near every US politician a big bag of money. And in exchange, all they have to do is give them the US taxpayers' hard-earned money and literally just blow up the entire Middle East. And at first, it works. Gradually, every country in the Middle East is destroyed by America and their buddies in Israel. Now they get to Iran. Now Iran decides that they don't want to get blown up. And so Benji and his buddies decide to go back to America and ask literally every US president they can to bomb Iran.
I can tell you in all the years that I was in the CIA, no matter who the Israeli prime minister was, every single time an Israeli prime minister came to Washington, no matter who the president happened to be, the Israelis would say, please help us bomb Iran. Please help us bomb Iran. Please help us bomb Iran. And the presidents always said no until this one. I think that President Trump was duped by Benjamin Netanyahu, and now we're in a war that is not ours from the beginning, and that we cannot win.
That was until the American people gathered together and used their 6th grade reading level and combined IQ of 12 to elect the biggest retard they could find. So, do you guys remember that time the Americans spent billions of dollars, thousands of soldiers' lives, and 20 years fighting a brutal war to replace an authoritarian regime with another authoritarian regime? Like in Vietnam, where they spent 23 years, took 50,000 casualties, and spent $160 billion just to replace the Viet Cong with the Viet Cong. Or Afghanistan, where they spent 20 years, took 2,500 casualties, and spent over $2 trillion just to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. So it would seem the Americans have not lost their touch when it comes to starting pointless forever wars. The 2026 Iran war started on the 26th of February 2026 with strikes on Iranian missile and nuclear facilities. The US and Israel both participated in these strikes, and on the first day they actually managed to kill the Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. After joint US and Israeli strikes on Iran, the Iranians blockaded the Strait of Hormuz, preventing all oil and gas tankers from entering or exiting the strait. This was honestly a genius move by the Iranians, as the Strait of Hormuz is vital for the world economy. 20% of the entire world's oil supply flows through here, meaning a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is starving the entire world of oil, forcing every country in the world to pay attention to what the US and Israel are doing.
Oh! Oh no!
After the US and Israel continued striking Iranian cities and nuclear facilities for days at a time, the Iranians started striking US bases in the region, knocking out almost all US military bases in the region of the Middle East. The fools in Washington and Tel Aviv then began striking Iranian oil infrastructure, resulting in Iran blowing up 20% of the world's oil supply, leaving behind $60 billion worth of damage and infrastructure that could possibly take years to repair, creating a situation that will inevitably weaken the global economy and stoke inflation all over the world. The orange dumbass then decided to try a new strategy to open the Strait of Hormuz, just declaring victory over Iran and telling everyone that the strait was open. As you can imagine, this nonsense didn't go over well with Iran. And since then, he has reportedly claimed victory numerous times despite not winning, made endless threats at Iran that they fucking laughed at. He then somehow negotiated a ceasefire, which Israel immediately violated, which is like the least surprising thing ever. He then somehow got into an argument with the Pope. I don't even know why that happened. But in summary, Donald Trump fucked everything up. And honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less from Bubba's boy toy. That's the video. Bye.